It's Saturday, the weather is not the greatest. I honestly feel exhausted because, well, as anybody who's following me in this in tech knows, it's a usual time. Well, okay, not for everybody, but at least it's performance review time. And those of you who have experienced it, you know that it is not the most uplifting time in the year for most people. So yeah, anyway, in the previous episodes of this series, I have been working on trying to get enough of the control panel of my air conditioning units reverse engineered so that I could at least start figuring out how to build home assistant integration for it. And in particular, on the last, not the last stream, but the last stream on this series in particular, I have written a command line emulator of a control panel because I wanted to make sure I would understand how the protocol works even without having the ESP home device in my hand ready to be used. And now I wanted to try it. And the way I'm going to try it, I don't have a picture of it, but I did show it on stream last time. I have BeagleBone Black because for various reasons I don't really use Raspberry Pis usually. I don't find myself particularly enamored with a Raspberry Pi as a board. I've had bad experience with the couple of ones I had to deal with myself, so I'd rather use anything else if I can. Thus, well, I did consider using a Raspberry Pi um, with a compute module for this particular problem here, but I didn't want to maintain. Well, A, it was way too expensive, like bill of material wise. B, I didn't want to maintain 3 different Raspberry Pi full Linux installs for the 3 control panels. Like it's a bit too much in my opinion. And C, well, I did manage to get this to work, I think, with enough ESP home on this one. So I will go for an ESP home at the end, or the 3 different ESP home units at the end. So I have a BeagleBone Black. I have an USB to UART adapter that I know can do the low speed, low baud rate control that my HVAC uses. And I breadboarded on a tiny, like a very tiny breadboard, a T-Lin 1027Q1 lean transceiver, and that should be enough. So that's what we're going to go for today. Also today I don't have don't expect any video running because everything is in a different side of the room. I have cables just bringing everything over there. It's kind of a horrible jury-rigged situation, but hopefully it will work. I'm going to use this coding and analyzing mode, although I will probably move the VS Code in front of a logic, so let me do that. There you go. Or maybe I can just make a logic smaller so that we can see it more easy. Like, let me try to do that. Because I will want to... Oh, no. Yes, I'm doing this live. There we go. So, to give you an idea that's the analyzer right now, this is connected only to the LIN bus and the RxTX of the system. I'm going to keep it as simple as possible for the moment. But as I write the code, I want to at least see the results. So this is how I'm going to do it. Also, today no Fritz, because I'm out of Fritz cola at home. I need to order some. On the other hand, I have Charity Black, which is black tea with lemon, organically grown and real brewed. Smells good. It is sweetened with agave, I think. Yeah, organic agave juice. and overall it has 3.8 grams of sugar per 100 mils, which is not much. It's not little, let's be clear. It's not sugar free, but it's low enough that I can drink it, and it's not frizzy. And it tastes great. So, where were we? Yes, so I already cloned this on my BeagleBone. This is the panel emu is the one I want to use. It's already like it will take a serial port. It has a very minimum amount of things. The main things is I need to actually have. Well, I haven't tried this on Python 3.7 because where I developed it, I was using Python 3.8 or 3.9. So let me start with creating a VM and see if it works. I don't have VM installed somehow. As I said on Twitter, this is Debian. I don't know what I'm doing. And my idea is that if this works, I can at least start working on the actual ESP home changes. It may be working or not, let's see. The other interesting part, oh, it worked. I'm so curious, VM, bin. Yeah, it doesn't do activate PS1 on Linux, which is a bit sad because now you could technically use PowerShell on Linux and I will be tempted to use it. Yeah, I know. Probably it's just craziness on my side to suggest that. I know I need construct, right? Because the struct thing uses construct, so install construct. And it would be very nice to be able to use constructs in CircuitPython. Would have made my life so much easier, but like, I understand why it's difficult because construct is very high level. It's not particularly optimized for low level. Now, if I well, let me start the analyzer. You can see that everything is just 0, 0. Can I hide the recording? Yes, I can. And now panel ammo. Let's see if it works. No more. Oh, I need to install IO console as well. I forgot. I used the IO console to be able to question the user while doing that. So let me stop this for the time being. I mean, it's fine. It's recording like only digital 100 milli. I can't go much further down on this. That's like 1 mega sample per second is plenty for this because remember, but this goes at 104 bps. And that means it's just going to use a lot less memory. Okay, let's start this. No module name clicked. You know, I should have probably added the requirements.txt, even if it's just for myself. Let me do that. Import metadata Python version less than 3.8. Let's hope it works. And serial. By serial, obviously, that actually makes sense. Also, if anybody is watching this one on YouTube afterwards and is interested in seeing the live happening in YouTube rather than on Twitch, please let me know. If there is any interest, I may sign up for Streamlabs Prime just to get this like streamed on multiple parts, but like nobody seems to care right now, so let's see what happens. Type object is not subscriptable because I'm using Python 3.8 or 3.9 syntax, so I need to change that. That's easy. I'm missing argument, that's fine. I have TTY USB 0. Okay. It's getting answers. I'm going to stop this for a moment because I cannot add the analyzers. Let me bring this down a little bit. I cannot add the analyzers with the thing running. I'm going to put this only on the Limbus. The other two are going to be identical, so I don't care. I'm going to add the high-level analyzer. Actually, can I? Yeah, don't show stream because I don't care. So you can see running false. Something is changing among these as it sends over. The high-level analyzer doesn't parse the return from the HVAC, but it knows some of the stuff from the HVAC now. So the HVAC says 606060 and then 0. So 21 is actually the temperature. I don't know why I'm not sending it, am I not? Oh, there you go, room temperature. Am I sending room temperature 31.5? Is that what I'm sending on the panel item right now? I'm supposed to send 26.5. Why is it sending 31.5? Room temperature times 2 minus 10. I'm putting it in the wrong place, like it was supposed to be room temperature minus 10 times 2. Which probably makes more sense. Anyway, so if this works, I'm going to start this now again. And the mode is set to the mode is set to cool, but it's running false. Fan speed is set to high. So running equal yes. So I now told it to turn on. It is indeed turning on. So the good news is that it appears to have turned on when I asked it to turn on. So I assume that that's 08. So here I'm asking it to turn on. I sent it only once. The original panel sends it twice to be safe, I guess. Sorry, not the turn on. Like the turn on state is fine, but the change state sends twice. These settings changed here. But you can see here that when I sent this to true, this changed from 0 to 08. I wonder if that ever changes back. Maybe when it reaches set temperature. Fan speed is currently set to high. I can't really hear much of a fan. I could set the fan speed to low and see. I cannot set it to power because this one doesn't support it. Fan speed equal low. Setting change low, true, where to go. And yeah, it hasn't changed anything. If anything, it looks like the 22, 22, 22. Oh, that's still the same. That was 21. Alright, here was 21. So, yeah, if anything, the temperature has been raising there somehow. It's going to be fairly boring if I just stare at this thing all the time, just so you know. I'm trying not to do that. Oh, you look, now it says 8.8. I have no idea what the return values are. Like one of them probably is telling me that the air conditioning unit is running, and some of it is telling me that the air conditioning unit is not doing anything because it reached temperature or whatever. I'll give it some time to just go ahead. Meantime, we can do a little bit of browsing around here. I have a bunch of datasheet and all the stuff from the CircuitPython from last time, so let me set most of that aside for now, and let's look at ESP Home. So, what is my plan for this? So it's going to be a climate component, and it's going to be a custom climate based on the idea of a thermostat component. So it's going to be like this one. Yeah, this one says, and the controller can activate devices like a heating unit and or a cooling unit to change the value observed by the sensor. Wiring configured for both heating and cooling. It's essentially two bang controllers in one. And that is if you have the two things separate and you just want to enable, like you essentially have two switches. And you can say, oh, turn on this, turn on that. Now that's not what I'm doing on this one. What I'm doing on this one is going to be slightly different. Also, by the way, it is getting chillier, so I guess it is working, so that's good. It means I can control it without the panel. I'm going to write a custom climate for this. And well, I'm probably not even going to use the custom climate per se. I'm actually going to write the full climate component with the control and stuff. The only thing I have a problem with this one is um, the visual max. I don't know what the visual min and max are on this one. This doesn't expose a temperature sensor, so I'm not sure how I'm going to do, like, let me show you what I mean. So if I go to analyzing, there you go. Let's say analyzer as it is right now. So I have a temperature, the fake temperature that I'm sending from the emulator, which is this wrong 31.5. There is this 27 that is coming from the HVAC unit, from somewhere in the HVAC unit. I have no idea where in the HVAC unit that is coming from. I can venture one guess, but I don't know if it... Ooh, I have an idea. Bear with me a second. I had a can of compressed air. So here's an interesting situation. When we moved into this apartment, we were provided with a bunch of manuals of how things work, but nothing for the air conditioning. The air conditioning is built into the apartment and it's the same throughout all of the apartments of this building. And supposedly it has some remote sensor or something. That's what we've been told, because there are actually 3 plugs on the wall that could reasonably be temperature sensors for the HVAC. But we don't know, because there is no clarity on that. Our landlord doesn't know either. I tried before to see if any of the values I was looking at will go down when I would like keep some eyes close to that sensor, but nothing will happen that way. Well, here's the thing. I was looking at the stuff that was coming from the panel, not from the HVAC. And so I don't know if this number over here goes down. I don't want to go and grab more ice because it takes forever. But I do have a can of compressed air, and compressed air is cold because of probably something to do with latent heat. Just look at technology connections for that. Alec would know better. Now let's see if this number went any down at all. No, it doesn't seem to. Maybe it's not cold enough for it. Sorry for the probably horrible noise. No, it hasn't gone down. I guess this will be easier to bring up with hairdryer instead. The other thing is, I don't know where I put my thermometer. I usually have a thermometer on my desk, but I moved it recently and I don't remember where. So I'm just looking for it right now, which I know I should not be doing while I'm streaming, but since we are just waiting for this thing to see whether it moves or anything, this still says 88 there on the start, which means it is running, and I think it just means the HVAC. Oh, it's just behind the. It was literally where it was supposed to be. So it still says it's 26.7 over here. Hasn't really gone down. I can feel it a little chillier than it was before, but it hasn't really gone down. I just sent the fan speed high, and it is indeed going faster now. Like I can feel it. Oh yeah, 27 is actually the correct temperature of this room right now. Like that is the temperature it is here. And I do want to bring it down because 27 gets very uncomfortable for me. I like colder rooms. And it does take a while to get there. But let's see. Let's see a little longer. This seems to be working. Now let's go back to browsing. So my idea here is to just have a climate controller because the climate call object is what actually sets the target temperature, fan mode, the swing mode, which there isn't really much of it. The preset I don't think I need. Unfortunately, this doesn't give me the getaway is we don't really have a way mode or anything. It's just going to be on or off. The other thing that I need to figure out is which. Okay, so let me take a step back and explain. The climate controller has the two values, and you can generally just go for I have this temperature, I'm going to keep it between the two. What I'm planning on doing is to have the component actually take how do you call it? A reference to a temperature sensor. So that I can say, hey, just use this temperature sensor over here because the control panel itself has a temperature sensor, but what it's sending there. And maybe that's the one that it uses to know the temperature of the room. I'm not sure, to be honest. I do want to have it use one of the Home Assistant temperature sensors because that way I can move the temperature sensor any point. Over here in the study, things are actually fairly okay, but in the bedroom, the temperature as seen by the control panel or as reported by the control panel and the temperature as reported by Home Assistant don't match at all. And the one on Home Assistant is correct. So I don't really want to use that one. So if I'm looking right now on the study, I don't have the other temperature. Let me look at. I have my Home Assistant open right now. I'm not sharing that one. Oh well, we changed the auto colors of the graphs in the new version of Home Assistant. They look more pastel. They are very interesting, actually, color choices. And the graph is definitely more readable on like what is what. So I'm looking now at the bedrooms because the study counts as a bedroom. The study fan says it was 28 degrees nearly, and I can believe that. And now it went straight down. Can I actually show you this? Do I want to show you this? Yeah, probably I can. Let me change this for a moment. Oh, I can't. It doesn't show the window to capture, so I cannot show you the window to capture. Why? So, okay, let me do it this way instead. Let me try to find a way to show you this. Here we are. Yes. So this peak over here is probably when I closed the door and I started streaming. And that's when the air conditioning went off. This step over here, the blue line, I probably could have hidden everything else besides those two. The two lines track for the most part, except here you can see this one goes much higher, but was sometime last night. And you see that one has much less time. Like this is definitely when I turned off the AC. And you can see that it goes higher, but like it goes higher in much rougher steps compared to the olive one. The olive one comes from the Dyson fan. So I think I want to use the Dyson fan as my temperature sensor because it seems to be a lot more clear. But on the other hand, I did have problems before with the Dyson implementations of the integrations where it will get stuck for a long time. I haven't seen this with the new integrations for Dyson, so maybe that's fine, but that is a bit of a problem. The alternative will be to average the two sensors there, so create another new template sensors and just average between these two and just say, hey, that's actually the temperature I'm going to use. So if one gets stuck and the other goes down, at least it all goes down. But you see these peaks over here, those are actually useful and important to have. Oh, the analyzer stopped, so let me open a new session. And the reason why I say that is because now I'm going to start the analyzer again. Still 88 there. Now what I'm going to do, because I've been silly, this thing is not running in a Tmax or anything. So I do wonder what happens if now I stop the project. So the aircon seems to still be running for now. So this is useful. That means that like I don't need to keep repeating myself except to read back the temperature sensor. So I don't need to run this every 2 seconds or every second. I could run this every 5 seconds, 10 seconds, every 30 seconds, every time I change something. I'm actually trying to figure out if I can feel whether it's moving or not. Yeah, it's definitely moving. Awesome. This is actually very, 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 very nice. Okay, so this is the important part. One of the important parts. It works even if it crashes. I can definitely see the fan temperature is going down. Was this reporting still? See, this was now reporting room temperature going down as well, 26.5. So yeah, but it doesn't have something somewhere that reports correctly. So I need to find a way to expose that temperature in addition to the rest of it. But the fan temperature is definitely the one I want to use for my I cannot show you because somehow the Home Assistant window doesn't show up on the stream. Um, but it's definitely a more sensitive temperature sensor bar. So that's good. That is very good. It's probably because it's actually moving the air inside and it's not just stationary on my desk, which is what the other temperature sensor is. And this may be less important now during the summer because yeah, it's fine. Um, it is a lot more important later during the winter when it gets very cold very fast. The other useful part of this is that I will want to have different presets, not in the climate control itself, but in Home Assistant, so that overnight it makes sure that it turns on the heating a little bit just to not make it go too cold. But if I'm actually working, I want it running high, like slightly higher, because I don't want to freeze. So there is going to be a bit of playing around with that. Going back to the browsing. So that's the climate side of things. The other thing I need to do is I need to report a temperature sensor, which is one of the sensors component. Like it has its own sensors components. It has a bunch of things you can do with that. I'm not going to bother with that in the sense of that's not what I need. I'm going to have a custom component that is just going to be showing the cute this one. That's not what I want right now. I will have a custom component that will show the temperature as reported by the panel. That way I essentially need to be able to read the component from a panel, the temperature from a panel, and just report it. And then I can try to match that with anything and see if it's even useful. It may not be useful, but it can be useful for the averaging side. So that's nice to have. So let's go back for a moment to coding and analyzer. And did the temperature stop going down? Yeah, the temperature stopped going down and it's actually going up. I wonder if it just turned off now. Yes, so it times out. It doesn't need the stream to be exactly every 2 seconds, but if you don't send anything for some time, for a few minutes, it will just stop. Do I have Tmax? I do have Tmax. Unfortunately, it's probably going to be one of those Tmaxes with, yeah, Control B instead of Control A. I still haven't gotten used to Tmax over screen for the command line. I should get used to it. So this one I'm trying to keep with the Control B's, and worst case they will get lost a few times. B and being activate. I'm going to go for panel panel Python panel. Yes. That TTI with speed 0. And yeah, now it's reporting correctly 26.5 instead of 31.5 as before. I turned it to running and I can feel it running. The HVAC says 08 and I think again it turned on. No, it was running 88, so 88 was it's running. It may have reached temperature. No, because that temperature is 18, so that's not. So now I'm curious, if I do set temperature equal 28, will it stop? Now I'm setting the temperature to be 28. And in the meantime, my wife reminded me that today was the market in Gonsbury Park, and I missed it. And I forgot. Okay, so right now it knows that the temperature is lower. I see it says 08, so I think it turned off the pump, but I think it started saying 08, it went from here to here, it went turned off the 08, so this was the last one before 08. And I didn't change the settings on that one. Yeah, I think that might just be it's not running it, or maybe it is. But things seem to be going on. Okay, so I have a feeling that, let me go and check again if it's moving at all, because I feel a little bit, but I'm not sure. It is running. I may need to commandeer one of the actual thermometers and to try to figure out if the air is cold or not coming from that thing. I think that as an experiment today is good enough. I'm going to turn this back to turning off the running and see what happens when I do that. So now I turn running off, and that's 08. Oh, what happens if I turn running mode equal fan and running equal true? So now it's going to fan mode, and I'm telling it to run it. So I think that 08, that means the fan is running, and 88 means that the actual HVAC engine is running. That's my guess. I'm going to run it running this way for a while, just so I can get the feeling of what's going on. Like, this part over here is not as important. The analyzer, but the panel emu will run. Because this is all I needed to do today. And the next one is going to be a bit of redesign of ESP Home. Sounds good. This was a shorter stream than others, but for the next I need a little bit more planning. So there is not going to be an immediate one follow-ups to this one. It turned out to work better than expected. Anyway, till next time, see you everybody. Bye.